You are significant. You have seeds of greatness inside of you. You are not on accident. You are on purpose. You are here for a very divine, special purpose. And we are going to talk in this podcast about evidence that you are significant.
So, as we have just talked about releasing unhealthy expectations, letting go of unhealthy relationships, and letting go of shame and guilt. In the last episode, the solo cast with You Are Significant right here. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to move into talking about now how to reset. And so, one way to reset is to reset your mind. You want to renew your mind, right? I want to renew my mind. That is for sure, especially after the year that we've had in 2024. It just feels beautiful to think about resetting my mind, resetting what I'm going to think about. We've had a lot of heavy things to think about in 2024. And it is okay to reset the mind. But I also want to dial this down to our own self talk and the things that you might think about continually that have nothing to do with the external forces and more to do with your internal condition. And we have a few thoughts that we think over and over and over again. I'm working with a trainer that does emotion coaching and helps program the nervous system. And I do a 20-minute practice a day. Last year, I worked on peace, and this year, the year starts over for me in that in I think August. Um, yeah, it would be around August. And so I'm in my second year, and I'm working on focusing on programming joy. And that has really been interesting because when you start focusing on something positive, often what shows up is the negative at first. Like, what do I need to reset? And what do I need to release so I can reset and renew my mind and renew my heart? And so I've had to work on realizing that I had a lot of sadness, um, that I've really gravitated not towards anger, and that's okay. Some people do gravitate towards anger, frustration, wrath, rage, but for me, my habit, and there's another word for that, but I'm just going to say habit, has been to revert to sadness. And so I'm not going to shame or guilt myself. I'm going to accept that, and I'm thanking my brain for seeing it. Thank you for seeing it. Thank you for letting me see that. And so, thanking your mind for letting you see what your thoughts are, what your feelings are, and being willing to work on replacing negative thoughts and emotions with positive ones. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Philippians 4:8 says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." I love that scripture, and that's really one of my life verses, for the mind and my heart, especially. I think it goes really well with the verse we talked about in the last episode with you and me together, of being anxious for nothing, but casting all my care on Him, on Jesus. And so for me, these two verses go hand in hand to renew my mind. One of the thoughts that comes up a lot is, I'm not smart. There's the root of it is I'm not enough, but there's a lot of versions of I'm not enough, and I'm not smart is one of those. And that's a negative thought that I finally learned. I didn't see it, it was subconscious for a long time. And I finally realized I'm not smart is one of the thoughts that I've had to reset. And so I had to, one of the ways I did that, and one of the ways you can do it too, is look in your life for evidence that you are smart. I graduated with honors from the National Honor Society. I was part of the National Honor Society, and I graduated with the yellow cord around my neck as I graduated. And I forgot about that. I totally forgot that I was part of the National Honor Society. That's evidence that I am smart. I was on the AB honor roll a lot during school. I had to study, but that doesn't mean I'm not smart. I am smart and I'm able to learn, and I'm thankful for that. So, look in your own life for how you are smart if one of your negative thoughts is, I'm not smart. Another negative thought that comes up is, I'm not favored. I'm not the right color skin. I'm not the right gender. I'm not the right ethnicity. I don't make enough money. I don't drive the right kind of car. I don't live in the right kind of house. I'm not favored. People are not going to like me. They're not going to pick me. I'm not going to be the one. I'm going to get passed over for the job promotion. Like, this is, I'm not favored. And so look for reasons to believe again that you are favored. I am favored. Why am I favored? This is affirmations and afformations. Affirmations is when you say, why am I favored? And then your brain will answer. If you ask your brain a question, it has to answer, right? So, why am I favored? Because I was picked to be the first chair in band. I was picked to be the team captain. I was picked to be on first string. I was picked to be, you fill in the blank. Maybe your school was like mine growing up, and we had clubs. And there was Beta Club, Spanish Club, Key Club, Lions Club. Like, the students could be a part of the club. And maybe you were the president or the vice president. Maybe you were on the student council. Maybe you were, for your class, maybe you were class president or class secretary. Those are all evidence that you are favored. Maybe you were picked for a job when it was between you and one other person and you got picked. You are favored. So remember, look for evidence in your own life that you are favored. And I think I have talents is also an important positive affirmation. I am talented. There is no person that doesn't have a talent. Everybody is created with at least one talent. My friend Glenda Kroll and I were talking today, and she grew up with two special needs brothers. And when her parents passed away, she always helped take care of them, and she was the youngest. Listen to that episode if you haven't heard it yet. So good. But it made me think while she was talking. It's not something we got to talk about together on that episode, but one of the things I thought about was, even a child who's born with special needs, maybe nonverbal, and also not able, what is it called when they're in a wheelchair? I'm sorry, I don't know the correct term, but not mobile, not able to walk. But that child, even that child, maybe it's your child, maybe it was your brother, maybe it was somebody in school with you, that child still has a talent, because children always have personality, even nonverbal, right? And that child is bringing joy. That child may be the child that doesn't misbehave, is a good child that you just brings love, a lot of love into your family. That child will never abandon you. That child will always be present as long as that child lives. You're not going to have to worry about that child abandoning you. And you know what I mean if you know what I mean by that. So every person, every created human has seeds of greatness inside of them, and every single one has talent. When you look at the Bible, at the parable of the talents, was there a zero talent man? Nope. Every single person had at least one talent. And something I've thought about is, even if I was the one talent, if I use my talent and I use it to the best of my ability, what happened in that parable to the ones who had talent? The two talent was given two more, and each person who used their talent was given double what they had. And so it says there that if we use our talent, we'll be given more, we'll be blessed. So even if you are like, but I'm just a one talent person, I don't feel that talented. There's so many things I'm not good at that other people are good at. That's okay. Release it, reset your mind, and be grateful and use that one talent. And I think God will bless you with another talent. He's going to double it. And then when you have two, it'll be four. When you have four, it can be eight. But use your talent. You have talent, friend. Renew your mind. Focus on what God has put inside of you. Reset your priorities. So, this is a great time of year to look at, where's your time going? And this is not a time to shame or guilt. And I don't even necessarily believe it's where the most time is going, because if the most time was your priority, then we might all have our priorities upside down. But I believe that, yes, you've got to count work. It might be 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. That, of course, has to happen because you've got to pay your bills, you've got to eat, you've got to have a car to drive. So, of course, you're going to spend a lot of time doing that. But then after that, what is your priority? For me, I like to start my day with God. I like to start my day listening to my Bible reading, spending some time in prayer, even writing in my journal, because a lot of times when I wake up, God gives me a thought, a new thought. He gives me a realization that I hadn't had before. If I will be still and take that deep four-sided breath and just listen. Don't turn on any music yet. Don't turn on any other thing to listen to, an audiobook, my Bible reading. Just be still and breathe and listen. That is some of the most beautiful time in the morning. It says in Matthew 6:33, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you. Psalms 90, verse 12, teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. That is a priority. That's a priority I pray for. In my prayers, I pray for wisdom. In Luke 10:41 and 42, it says, Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed. Indeed, only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. What was Mary doing? She was sitting at the feet of Jesus, and Martha was like, tell Mary to get up and come help me. And I feel compassion for Martha. She was serving, she was using her talent. I don't necessarily think it was wrong what Martha was doing, or that Jesus was saying it was wrong. It was just that when Martha wanted Jesus to make Mary come and do what she was doing, he said, It is better what Mary has chosen. So you have priorities. What are your priorities? Think about that. And it's a great time to reset your priorities. One of the things that happens to me when I need to reset my priorities, one of the things I often find is I'm not getting up early enough. I need to get up earlier so that I can have time for that quiet time, for the Bible reading first, the prayer first, the journaling first, and not be rushing to get to work. Do you feel me on that? I would love to hear from you. If you feel me on that, drop me a comment on this episode. Let me know, yep, time is one of the things that makes priorities a challenge, but there's grace. Praise the Lord. There's grace, there's mercy, and God is so patient with us, isn't He? Proverbs 3:6, in all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Ecclesiastes 3:1, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Mark 1:35, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. I want to be like Jesus. Do you want to be like Jesus? Me too. So I'm going to reset my routine when it gets out of whack. And that's just going to be part of life. Sometimes routines need to be reset, and that is perfectly okay. And then reset boundaries. Reset your boundaries. We've already talked about getting up early, going to bed earlier. It's like a domino effect, right? If I go to bed earlier, I can get up earlier, I get more rest, I have a better mood. I probably didn't snack too late either because I wasn't up too late. My cortisol goes up around 10 o'clock. The human body's cortisol goes up around 10 o'clock. Cortisol makes you feel snacky. So if we go to bed earlier, we avoid all that. We get more rest. We are eating healthier. We get up earlier. We have time to juice something healthy like make green juice, or we have time to cook some eggs and have a piece of sprouting toast, Ezekiel bread, something like that to fuel our body for the day. You might need to reset a boundary in a relationship. It could be that as you've listened to this podcast and you've realized, yep, I do need to make some space. I need to, answer that person less quickly. I need to not schedule to go out with them often, or maybe at all, depending on what that friend is influencing you to do. You may need to be walking away and not arguing. That could be your child, that could be your spouse. You might need to reset a boundary where, yep, I made my closet where I can go and pray and get in a safe space, and it has things on the wall, quotes, scriptures that inspire me. And automatically, when I step in that space, I feel refreshed. I feel at peace. I don't have to argue. I can be quiet. Maybe you need to reset a boundary to walk away and get in your quiet space. Maybe it's as simple as I'm going to start my prayer life again. I'm going to start praying. Even if it's just, I'm going to pray for my children in the morning, or I'm going to pray and ask God to bless my day and to keep me safe and to help me change in this one way. I'm going to stop cussing all the time. I'm going to clean up my language, and I'm going to stop taking false power from using cuss words that makes me feel more powerful in the moment. And I'm going to use clean language that honors God and leaves the power to Him, leaves it to Him to do the work in that person's heart who's listening to me instead of me trying to take the power. No judgment. Maybe this is just a goal that you've set. And so, as we look at scriptures to help us be empowered to reset boundaries, Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Galatians 6:25, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ, for each one should carry their own load. Matthew 5:37, all you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond that comes from the evil one. You can simply be. You don't have to always give an explanation. And sometimes setting a boundary means I'm just going to be more at peace. I'm just going to say my say, and it's going to be brief. I'm not going to have explain myself and argue or defend. I'm just going to say my say, and I'm going to live peacefully. And if you have people around you that aren't accepting that, change your people. It's okay. So you may need to reset your people. You may need to reset friendships. So thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I would love to hear from you. What are you going to reset as we move into 2025? And as we reset after reflecting on 2024, and where are you? Do you need to reset your mind, reset your priorities, reset your routine, reset your boundaries, or reset your friends? Maybe what area, pick one. What is one area that you are going to purpose to reset for 2025?
Thank you for listening to You Are Significant. Please leave us a review. Please leave comments, give us a like, and share this out. We appreciate you here on You Are Significant, and I cannot wait till next time to spend time with you.